From EPAWA Weather Consulting, headquartered in Worth Whitehall, Pennsylvania, this is Weather Weeklies, an informative video of the ins and outs of weather that affect you most in the EPAWA coverage area. The thoughts and opinions expressed in this video are those of the forecaster alone and may not reflect those of the staff of EPAWA Weather Consulting LLC as a whole, nor its constituents. Now, without further ado, here is meteorologist Bobby Martrich with Weather Weeklies.
Hey, good Sunday morning to you. Another edition of Weather Weeklies for Sunday, November 25th. I apologize for the late video today. I had a little bit of some stomach pain this morning I had to work through. But thankfully, we got through that, and we're able to get to the video. So we have some things we got to talk about here in the long range, and some skepticism I have about some of the outlooks that are just projecting forward to December and just blanketing it with just one cold and snowy month type of headline. I'm a little skeptical about that, and I'll get to that here in the long range forecast. So here is our long range from Friday. Of course, we are about near average, actually very nice outside for Sunday, and we're going to go to below average for the next couple days after that, then slightly below average from the 29th through the 4th of December. I think we're generally below average. I might have some near average days mixed in there as well. But then I think we go back to below average again between the 5th and 9th, and then a step out of that to near average and slightly above average possible. And I do think that's might actually work out. We had monitor low confidence in that, but I'm starting to see more signals for after the 10th, seeing it warm up a little bit. And when I say warm, I mean warm relative to average, of course. This isn't going to be warm, but still warmer relative to average, and I do think that that's going to happen after the 10th of December. And there's more signals showing me that's going to occur. Here's our, of course, rain event that hit yesterday. Some very heavy rain in some areas, especially across New Jersey. That was, of course, after a wintry mixed start for some far interior areas and western areas that went over to rain. And then we have rain showers coming in Monday. That's still on the table, still going. All during the daylight hours, mostly on Monday, but just showers, a very light event, not a real big deal, and certainly nothing in comparison to what we just had on Saturday. With winter storm signal, we still have on here outlined for the between the 2nd and 9th of December. I think it's probably more like the 4th or 5th through the 9th or 10th is our winter storm signal. I'll get into that definition of winter storm, quote unquote, because it might not be what you might think here. So November temperatures are now in the slightly below average range across basically the entire region, and we had that here for December for near to slightly below average. I was using our top analog. Some of our other analogs are suggesting maybe not. Some of the long range climate models like the Euro Weeklies and things like that are also suggesting after the 10th not really so cold. Might get a break. So this slightly above average for December might be in jeopardy. I don't want to change anything just yet, though. Just seeing some things that might change things downstream is all I'm saying. So let's go through the pattern through the second week of December. This is through the 9th of December. Now this is the Madden-Julian oscillation, and a lot of people are like, what the heck is this stuff? He talks about this every week, and I have no clue what he's talking about. Well, I'm going to try to give you a kind of like a lay terms, and this is going to be very basic. Very basic. Each of all these numbers here, 1 through 8, these are all different phases of across the equator, equatorial Pacific and Indian Ocean. And actually, here I'll show you the image. So they're all labeled. They all correspond to a different area of the ocean. This is out in the Indian Ocean and off the eastern coast of Africa and Indian Ocean, phases 1, 2, 3. And then you get out here in Indonesia, 4, 5 area. Even 6 is near the Philippines. Then near the international date line is 7, 8, 1. You get this area is what everybody cares about in the wintertime, because you get into a cold and stormy phase typically in December to January and February if you have your Madden-Julian oscillation in these phases. So that's where they are located. Okay, here is an infrared satellite temperature of what we're looking at. Now we're looking at where the best convection is. Strongest convection. Well, you got and it's along this equator region. So we're looking at these areas right here. Well, what jumps out at you is that as being the greatest convection right there. This right here. Okay, this is a typhoon, Manyi, I think, something like that. But look where it is. Phase 6. And guess where MGO is right now? phase 6. Now, it doesn't always work out that way. I mean, there's different other factors. Again, this is giving you a basic idea. So you can't just look at a map sometimes and be like, oh, look, there's a lot of convection here, and this must be a phase 6. Yes, it is now. There's also another tropical storm out here. I don't know what starts with a U. I forget what it started. Anyway, not as strong as this one. So this one's going to eventually be picked up by this. There's a big, strong jet here, fast jet. And it's going to be picked up by the jet and accelerate north and east. So we're going to go rapidly through phases 6, 7, 8, kind of like in this direction. It's an eastward propagating MJO wave. Okay. Now, why is that significant? Well, the greatest convection areas will affect the jet stream. So you get a poleward heat flux coming from this latent heat release. Okay. So you get a push up in the jet stream like this, right? And you have it affects the jet stream the jet stream downstream too. What goes up must come down, right? All right, so that's basically the idea. Now, depending what phase you're in, has different effects on our weather locally. I highlighted phases 1, 2, and 8 here because in winter those are the money phases, I guess. People, when you have winter weather enthusiasts that love snow, cold and snow, they like to see the MJO in any of these phases near the international date line. Well, you are going to be there very briefly. Phase 6 right now, that's where the dot is currently. But you can see with time, this is all, each one of these dots represent a different day. So this is the 25th where we're at now. Here's the 20, here's tomorrow, here's Tuesday, and it just keeps going forward to the end of the week and next weekend, and see how it's going like this and moving this direction. Now it stops here because we've reached December 9th at the end here. Okay, this is where it's expected to be, December 9th. Well, phase 3, you can see, not really cold. It is. You got lingering cold in the northeast, but it's moving out, and you got all this warmth ready to move in, which in phase 4 it does. So when you get past I'd say that we're cold up until about the 9th or 10th. After that, out here, and you get warmer again. Milder air comes in behind it. I don't know that it goes into phase 5 because we've been seeing a lot of these MJO waves die at phase 3 or 4, kind of like go back into circle death, and the process starts all over again. So we've been seeing that a lot. All right, so I don't know what goes into phase 5. I don't know if that's a prolonged period yet, but we're seeing at least some signs that we will turn milder after the 10th. So that's the start. So we are seeing a very progressive, fast zonal pattern across North America right now. What does that mean? It means everything's in and out, nothing stays and locks in. So you have this here, the cold coming in after Monday. This is going to come in, and it's going to be very cold middle of the week. And then you get toward the weekend, and guess what? This one's behind it, coming in. And behind that, you have another one, another 3 to 4 days behind that. So everything's kind of moving this direction. So nothing locks in because you don't have an amplified pattern. It's just a quick in and out, west to east pattern. Everything just keeps moving forward along that with that fast zonal Pacific flow. Okay, so it will be cold this week. Doesn't last very long. You get into the next weekend. You get another milder period coming in. So again, here's the cold that was just here in the middle of the week, and now moved eastward. And you have another one sitting out here ready to move in. So guess what? You get past this, you get in that 5th to 9th time frame, look where it is, right over us. Here's that warmth that was here prior. So it's just like a constant train. And you can see that continuing to line up behind it. Here's warm back here, here's more cold here. Okay, so it's just going to be a complete wave train moving eastward. And it just depends on, you got to time these just right. Since you have to time these just right in order to get snow, our storm signals are going to be kind of, we'll see. Now, when I say storm signal, there are storm signals out there for that period between the 5th and 9th. So we are getting some of the, we have the GFS and the European model and some other ones. They're not really excited. The operational runs are not excited about anything in that time frame just yet. Some of their individual members of their ensemble runs are, however. You can see there's a considerable amount here that are showing some snow, at least for the interior locations, and in some cases, significant snow. Now, when we're saying storm signal, you might be dealing with a slop storm, meaning starting off with snow, you have cold air at the onset. I have to watch that. I want to watch that one next Sunday, too. I know right now it doesn't look like too much. You have a high pressure kind of sitting in the right spot there. It might have a cold air damming situation with some more ice and stuff like that. This is next Sunday. We'll get into that throughout the week. I want to keep an eye on that one. But after that, you have the potential to have at least something that could be a slop storm where you're starting off with snow, maybe then going over to ice and then rain. Depending on where you are. The storm signal doesn't necessarily mean gigantic blizzard or big coastal storm. I know we've had a lot of those. We have a lot of moisture-laden storms over the past, I don't know, 6 months since summertime. It's been very wet. Actually, late spring. It's been wet for a while, folks, and I don't think that wet pattern is going away. Just a matter of timing this with these cold shots that we get. You still have to time things right in December. It's not like an automatic layup. Go, we're in December. Winter around here is really kind of locks in December, January. Not so much in December. You can have that, and of course we had that. It started off early with storms and with that big storm that happened a week before Thanksgiving. But that was kind of like an anomalous thing, unprecedented in some ways in terms of total snowfall for the month of November and for a single storm in November. A lot of locations. So we'll just have to wait and see. But just don't get excited. When I say storm signal, it doesn't mean we're getting a big storm. We're getting 2 feet of snow. Okay, just erase that out of your mind. Probably not. It's probably going to be a slop event, or maybe 2. So we'll cover that when we get a little bit closer. We do look at El Nino in the Eastern Pacific, and I would give an update each week of where we're at. Not really much change from last week, just a slight drop in temperatures. We're most concerned about Niño 3.4 and 4, the temperatures there. So this is still a weak El Nino out in those regions. But we have seen in the last week, if you look at the most recent sea surface temperature anomalies, here's your El Nino regions, of course. Look at the far east near Peru, the Peruvian coast. There's some very warm temperatures out here and some spikes in temperatures here. This is not out of the question to see this happening at this stage of the game. I think with time, this does eventually move westward, like we saw in 2014. Now, 2014, 2015 was our number 2 winter analog that we used in our winter outlook. We actually used a total of, I don't know, five or 6. That was number 2. Number 1, of course, is 2002, 2003, which is number 1 on everybody's list. That was a very juicy winter, but so was 2014, 2015. A lot of nickel and dime in that year. All right, he had a very warm PDO up here in 2014, 2015. Had this look in in November, where you had this spike of warmth off the Peruvian coast that eventually moved westward. I think that happens again. And as far as November is concerned, it's kind of scary how we're like similar to 2014. This is how November 2014 played out in terms of temperatures. Of course, the blues here are below average temperatures. The aqua colors over us are slightly below average. Guess what? This is almost exactly what we are this year. Not too much different. But here's the flip side of that. December 2014, back to warm. So if you're a snow lover, December was not a good year that year. You need something perfectly timed that we're looking at. Need something perfectly timed. I don't know what that was. Just popped up. But as we got into the month of January, it got over the Northeast United States, we got colder than average. This flipped to colder than average and stayed that way straight through. Actually, February got even colder below average. All right, in 2015. And then March was slightly below. So we do have the opportunity, even if we have a warm December, we are starting off warmer than average, or excuse me, ahead of schedule in terms of total snowfall. So I wouldn't get excited. Don't get sideways. If December doesn't turn out to be too cold of a month, or you don't get much snow in December, it's not a real big deal, folks. You're gonna have plenty of opportunity, I think, this winter coming up. But I'm just seeing similarities at least for the sea surface temperature configuration of 2014 to 2015, and especially November 2014. There are a lot of similarities here in the sea surface temperature configuration to lead me to believe that our number 2 analog might actually become number 1 if trees trends continue, especially when you look at November that year, and it looks so close to what we are now for this year, for the month of November. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm seeing signals, not only the Euro Weeklies, which are suggesting weeks 3 and 4 past the 10th of December are warmer than average weeks. Very possible. People like to call those blowtorch weeks. This isn't a blowtorch. It's relative. It's relative to December. Now, I'm not going to just. I know a lot of people love cold and snow. They follow these Weather Weekly's videos because we need a glimmer of hope. Maybe Bobby will give us some hope this week. There is hope. Plenty of hope for the winter as a whole. I'm just starting to look at. I'm not going to blow smoke up your rear end about December if it's not going to happen. I just don't think. Even though yes, we do have in our long range outlook near to slightly below average for the month of December. That might be changing. It might be. I'm seeing signals that are suggesting this is more of a December 2014 look. So we'll see. We'll see. But I do think the winter as a whole is going to be plenty productive, so don't fret. So here's a summary. Colder than average temperatures return after the Monday system exits. Everything's going to be transient. Every 3-4 days it changes. If you don't like the weather now, wait 3-4 days. It's different. Transient milder period returns in for very early December and then goes back to very below average again around the 4th or 5th, they'll say, and then it'll last through about the 9th or 10th. And we get milder again. Next winter storm signal time frame to watch is, I didn't change this. It still says late November on, right? But more likely early December. I think more likely early December is probably going to work out. We're not going to deal with anything at the end of this month. I think I do want to watch this system on Sunday. Just, I mean, the models aren't really through with it yet, but it's a cold air damming situation possibly where you could have cold air at the onset, at least icing, changing to rain or something like that. We'll see. But I think beyond that, you have some more maybe snow systems or snow to ice to rain, or we'll see. There could be some slop systems in there. Either way, my Pocket Meteorologist text alerts are available for any of these systems coming in, whether the rain, snow mix, or what have you. We'll give you timing and changeover times and all that stuff in the text alerts. We also discuss it in the premium forum as those systems evolve. We do that well in advance. We do not do that publicly. This is all done well in advance for first to know information, advanced updates, model analysis, and of course interactive with our meteorologists in the forum. So if you do want to take a look at these, you've been maybe apprehensive about getting them because I know everybody's shopping and things like that right now. So just don't forget about the My Pocket Meteorologist text alerts in the premium forum. You can click on the image below this video. It'll take you right to that page and give you all the information. Actually, give you a recap of this. And this system here, or this will show you what's different between our public and free services and what we do provide free. Because we do plenty of that. I know people like to complain, oh, you charge for things. Yeah, we do, but we do it, what everybody else does for free, we do for free also. We just do it above and beyond that. So, anyway. So take a look at that. Click on the image below this video, and you can check out all the information about the My Pocket Meteorologist text alerts, the premium forum that we have for the wintertime, and you can sign up right from that page. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is this edition of Weather Weeklies for Sunday, November 25th. Join us again next week, and hopefully we'll have a better idea on that stormy period. So we have a storm signal coming up into the 5th and 9th time frame that we outlined. See if we have something there concrete that we can talk about at that point. Take care.